Microsoft Word open,
Right.
listening in my AirPods, and just like typing as he was talking, and I'd write down questions sometimes like that I would have. Um, but it was the I think because I was listening and I was like, okay, one, this guy talks real fast, and I was like, he's making some good points, and then I think when it really clicked that all of a sudden I was like, yes, this guy understands me was the the growth, and then you get to a point where you stop growing, and
Yeah.
then teaching like your it's growth and then contribution, as I think was
And
the
you
term.
start growing from the
Yeah,
contribution.
and then I was like, that's so
Right.
funny because I was at such a lull in my riding until we started doing bike school, and then I feel like I started progressing so much more because now I
Yeah.
understand it so much different. And I thought that was really cool. And he's like, you got to understand the why. And I was like, oh my god, that's literally my words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Um, but I did one thing I thought was funny is I'm pretty sure in the Course Creator Pro, I'm pretty sure Parker does reference that book. Um, like I think he says it, like I think he says
Uh-huh.
it's this book, but Parker literally word for word took the "Catch Me If You Can" reference
Right.
with Leonardo DiCaprio. He literally took that word for
Because you
freaking
told me
word.
that, and when I heard it in the book, I thought that sounds like. And then the more I thought
Yeah.
about it, I was like, I feel like Parker and what's the brother's name?
Uh,
Stanton.
Dakota.
What's
Well,
oh,
there's Stockton and there's
Stockton.
Dakota.
I feel like they
Stockton is,
all
yeah.
grabbed parts of that book because I was like, this all
Well,
goes so
they
parallel.
I know they recommend one of his books fully.
Might have
Like they talk about it, and it was probably in that video, and it's probably that book because
right or
that
.com
reference,
secrets.
yeah, because that reference was straight out of that book. He
Uh,
said it exactly the same. Um, and but uh, in the group, Parker's mentioned, and even a full time filmmaker, Parker's mentioned. Was it Russell Branson? What's his name?
yeah,
Bronson? Yeah.
yeah,
He's referenced him quite a few times. I think he has taken a lot from that dude.
yeah. See, I've heard of him
Yeah.
because of the ClickFunnels thing, but I've never listened to any of his stuff. And then it was just there. I was like, oh, $22 book. I don't know if I really want it. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. We'll give it a listen. What's up,
Uh,
Beckham, Chad, Sergio, Andrew?
what's
How
up,
is
guys?
everybody?
Yeah, you said you were like you got to listen to this. I was like, okay. I clicked on it. It said $22, and I was like, fine. Click
I know.
buy. There was like log in to purchase, and I don't purchase anything on my iPhone. I was like,
Uh-huh.
because usually on the App Store, if I want to like download something, it just makes me enter my PIN,
Right.
like my login PIN. But I was like, dude, I don't know what my password is. It took me like 3 tries,
To
and
get it.
the email that I log into iTunes with, or like the App Store or whatever, is the same one as my Facebook, which is my first email ever from when I was in sixth grade in 2005. And guarantee you, I would not be able to get into that. So if I ever forgot my password, I'd be so screwed. Should probably go in and change all those emails.
Yeah. I was like, if Nick doesn't buy this, I'll probably buy it and gift it to him because I feel like him listening to this will really help everything out.
Oh no,
We'll have a lot to talk about in
I was like,
Phoenix.
yeah, I'll buy it. I actually went, so I went to storage. Hold on, let me get up for 1 second. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay. Oh, Nick is gone. Um, who's what's Sergio? Sergio has a good question. We'll talk about when Nick comes back. Beckham's at a hotel. They're driving to Disneyland. That's crazy, man. Did you bring your bike? Hey, Nick's back. Oh, what is all
Hey, you're
that?
at Disneyland? I was just next to Disneyland. I went to Anaheim Supercross on Saturday. It was legit. Yeah, so I went to my storage unit,
Uh-huh.
got a bunch of
Contagious,
books,
solid.
figured I'd read that one again. And then we got Jump Attack, the most insane workout book ever. I think I was telling you about this.
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
we've
bring
talked
this
about
when we
that
go to
one.
Phoenix because this is ridiculous. Like, I could not make it through one set of one day of the
What?
first month.
Open up a random page. Like, what's in there?
Okay, so let's. Well, there's a bunch of theory
Hmm.
first. Okay, so let's see. So this is in. This is Jump Attack. This is Michael Jordan's trainer. For anyone watching, this is Michael Jordan's trainer. Wrote this book, and so phase one is fire. Okay, And then let me just read you the phases real quick.
Okay. Okay. So this is what you guys need to do to become a basketball superstar and maybe
And
bicycle ride
he
superstar.
was doing this on game days.
These
This is
workouts.
basically, yeah, his trainer was like they were basically like so there's phase 1 is fire, force, and flight.
Okay.
And
Sounds important.
basically, you know, you got to read it, but he's like, it's all about explosive power. It's all about building explosive power. And he's basically like, if you cannot complete phase 1, absolutely do not move on to phase 2. And if you cannot complete, and it's like, basically, if you can't complete day 1, you got to start over.
Until you can complete it.
Yeah. And, you know, there's like required reading. Let's see. Jump Attack is a 12-week program divided into 3 phases. Each phase prepares you as for what's coming next. You'll do each phase for 3 weeks, then take a week to completely recover before beginning the next phase. The schedule gives you 4 training days each week, 2 leg days and 2 upper body days. The other days are for rest and recovery. Um, and so here, look at this. So phase 1, week 1, day 1 is relentless leg, so sequences 1 through 5. Then day 2, relentless total body. Day 3, rest and recovery. Day 4, relentless leg, sequences 1 through 5. Day 5, relentless total body. Then day 6 and 7, rest and recovery. So day 1 and 4, sequences 1 through 5. So sequence 1, fire hydrants. 10 times forward, 10 times backwards, 10 times to the side, repeat on opposite legs. Then tiptoe squat hold, 60 seconds. And then tiptoe squat pump. So after you've held the tiptoe squat, so you're on your tippy toes while squatting, elbows kind of over the knees,
Yeah.
you hold that for 60 seconds. Then you do 15 squat pumps. Then
Hold
you
it for a whole
rest
minute.
for, you hold it for a whole minute. Then you do 15 reps. And you do that 3 times. You rest 2 minutes in between, and you do that 3 times. But here's the worst part. Week 2, it's 90 seconds hold each time. Then
Wow.
week 3, it's 120 seconds. And that's just sequence. Just sequence 1 is, so it's the fire hydrants, tiptoe squat
Uh-huh.
hold, then the squat pump, then the hip flexor stretch. And it shows you how to do the fire hydrants, and this is the tiptoe squat.
Yeah, that looks hard. That looks really
It's
hard.
brutal. And that's only sequence 1. You got 4 more sequences. And then you do the stretch. And then sequence 2, fire hydrants, and then a lunge hold. Hold a lunge for 60 seconds, and then do 15 reps of pumps. And do that 3 times. So you're holding it for 60 seconds 3 times. And you do the fire hydrants in between and the hip flexor stretch.
I don't know if any
Then
of you guys
sequence
have done
3,
lunges, but lunges are pretty brutal. Like
dude,
even
holding a
15 is
lunge
a tough
for,
amount.
oh, and you got to hold the
And
lunge
holding,
for
yeah.
60 seconds on each leg. So you're doing 3 sets on each leg. Then fire hydrants again. Then elevated Bulgarian lunge hold
That
for
sounds
60 seconds.
crazy.
Do it on both legs. Repeat 3 times. That's this thing up
That's an
there.
elevated Bulgarian
Yeah,
lunge hold.
it's brutal. You feel like you're going to fall on your face.
Is that guy holding
And
weights in
then,
the picture?
what?
Is he holding
No,
weights in
he's
the
not holding
picture?
any
It's
weights.
just body weight.
No.
Okay. All body weight.
No, it's just his hands.
Okay.
And then the only time you need a bar is for the straight legged deadlift hold.
Uh-huh.
You kind of just like barely like bend. So you do the straight leg deadlift hold, 60 seconds, 15 reps, repeat 3 times. And then you do the dead pump lifts 15 times, and then the V up hold. By this time, you're roasted.
You're
Like
dead.
I could not make it through. I never once these first 5 sequences never made 3 times of 60 seconds for every single 5 things. It's like an hour long workout of like holding positions. And like I said, that's not, and then you get into like the explosive like jumping and stuff, but he's basically like, if you don't have this kind of foundation, you're going to hurt yourself when you get further in the book. So I closed the book and I put it away.
So we'll work on that later.
Yeah, but no, when I saw it, I got it out of storage and I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? 2022 jump attack training is going down.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
you're gonna
happen.
bring it. We'll try. It'd be cool if we filmed something like trying those.
Dude, We should. It'd be freaking
Yeah,
hilarious if like time lapsed it and we're just like,
right.
duh, dead. And then I have this book. This one I read a while ago. This one's a good one.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like I don't know how to explain it. And then the one I didn't get out because I can only I don't have a lot of space to put books. These are all Taylor's. I got a couple photography books for my course as well that I had.
Oh,
But the Mark Mason,
mhm.
the subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
That one, that one's really good. Have you read that one?
Oh yeah. I think I just went
Yeah.
past it. I was looking. I have one. It's called "Fuck Your Feelings" too by Ryan Muncy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I know. I've almost gotten that one. Basically, usually if the F word's in the title, I'm usually pretty drawn to
right.
it
It,
because I'm like
it,
they're ballsy. I'm
right.
gonna go
Yeah,
for
and
it.
it
Yeah.
stands out. I think one of them that I read, the guy's like, the reason I put it in the title was because it made you buy the book, and I was like, hey, he has a good point.
Yeah. I put it on my photography website.
Really? Ooh.
Yeah, and the day after I got that inquiry, that book today. So
Oh,
count it.
yeah, definitely. Hey, we got David Dennis in here. David's been in here a couple times. Um,
Go.
okay, we got a couple questions you wanna look at. This is a good one. This is a good one.
Yeah.
Sergio, what do you think about Garrett Reynolds versus Brandon Simonok?
Is this a like a rhetorical
Trick question.
question? Like, is this like hypothetical, like game of
Yes, yeah.
bike, or is this just like what do you think is the difference, or
I guess we
need more
could take
information
it.
on the
We
question?
could take it. However, what would happen if Garrett Reynolds and they switch spots? Like
Um,
mindset wise, I
I
feel like
think
they do very well at whatever.
so. I mean, I think Brandon would have a better like. Okay, let's not talk not X Games, not like it's not a contest.
Oh, your mic died. Maybe if you could switch it to your headphones.
If it happens again, I'll switch it to my.
Okay, it just happened. Nick was just about to go off on a really good tangent, and then the mic said no. What's up, Jared? Jared was building a TV stand. You didn't miss too much, Jared. We were just talking about books and stuff.
Is this fine, or
Hello.
does it sound like crap?
No, that's good.
Okay, I'll be fine. My mic died, guys. I don't charge things ever. Um, but no, so let's say like they're not competing against each other in like
Right.
Crankworks or X Games or nothing because let's be honest, neither one of them would have a chance against the other one in their discipline.
Mhm.
Um, but now let's say that they had to switch. Brandon Semenuk's got to go film a street BMX part, which he's done. He has done before. And Garrett had to go film a slope style or downhill mountain bike part. Brandon is going to have a much better shot of making it look like he was a street BMX rider. Because Brandon does ride all the bikes, and Brandon has put out, he has a video called, um, I can't remember, I have to look it up, but it's a full Barcelona street BMX video.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
yeah, and it's not Garrett Reynolds style street, but I think he would never be able to get his tech as Garrett does.
Mhm.
But I don't think Garrett would find a lot of comfort in doing tail ups off 40-foot drops at
At
Rampage
high speed.
or doing cork sevens on a 30-foot double. I just
Right.
don't see it. Like I think Brandon could never be what Garrett Reynolds is, but if they swapped places, Brandon would
Fit
do
in better.
better. Yeah. But also like I said,
Hmm.
you're not going to see Brandon truck driver a 20 stair, you know? Like he's going to ride basic street, so I guess Garrett would do the same. He would ride the dirt
Basic
jumps.
downhill.
He would ride the dirt jumps well and stuff, but they wouldn't neither of them would match the elite level of the other one.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I imagine if they swapped and then say you give them a year or something to build up, like how would it go? I think they'd be at pretty equal places, assuming that Garrett didn't have any experience on a dirt jumper and Brandon didn't have any experience on a BMX. But that's a really good point because Brandon's experience on the BMX would translate. Like, I think I want to dirt jump. The stuff Brandon Simonok does takes a lot more balls than slow flat rail stuff. Like, I don't know. Garrett's just a tech god, but as far as trying some of the stuff, assuming it's just we're talking about really technical stuff, not huge street stuff, forget that, Garrett. Technical flat stuff. Brandon would have an easy time working on that or even doing some of it. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it would be like for Brandon to learn a lot of like tech street, it would be a lot less risky than what he does now, you know?
Yeah.
But that's not at all saying that it's easier. Like, to me, like, I'll choose double flips and cork sevens and big tricks like that over like a hop whip any day. Like, I could probably learn truck whip or three double down or something
Yeah.
before you'd ever see me do a hop whip. Like, if I put the same amount of effort into both, there's just certain things, and that's why I need that jump attack power, so I can do a hop whip on a mountain bike. Imagine.
That'd be hard. It's crazy how different we are because I'm the complete opposite. I'm like, hop whips are cool. Big dirt jumps, no thank you.
Yeah,
Especially the trick
I'm
over.
like, dude, foot jam on that quarter, I could fall over. Like, dude, you know, you saw me slam on my hip on that
The
flare,
flare, yeah.
and I always know that, like over that channel, like, I always knew that that was a possibility, but there's also a really good chance that that's not gonna happen. If I were to go try to foot jam that quarter, it's about 90% chance I fall flat to the bottom on my hip, and to me, that would hurt worse than falling on the flare. There's something about just straight up falling over down that hurts when you got no momentum. You don't slide, you just like fall like an old lady.
I did that on my first few foot jams, and it's a tough thing
Well,
to
in my
do.
right leg, because I do it the back leg, and
Yeah.
it's on the big bike, my leg, it's not a comfortable position for that leg, so I do the inside one, and I've like missed and put my foot straight into the spokes, but then there's nothing to catch me, so then I really tip over because my inside leg is in there. So dangerous.
Um, Chad, this is a good question from Chad for you. If I'm more comfortable spinning switch, should I try to learn riding with my other foot forward? So Chad's a bike school member, and he's already got, I'd say, decent like foundation and skills riding right foot forward. Is that? Oh, he's riding left foot forward. So would it be beneficial for Chad to stop where he's at right now and then switch to be left foot or to be right foot?
Wait, so
I didn't know you
Chad,
spun switch, Chad.
Chad, which way you spin when you're trying your hop threes? To the right or to the left?
I'm going
Chad,
into the members. I'm gonna look at Chad's.
let's see. He spins to the right. Okay.
He's left foot
You
forward.
throw your bar spins with your left hand or your right hand? There's a delay on YouTube. I forget.
Right, I know it's like we're just waiting.
That's because they got a delay. Left. Okay. So, Chad, here's the thing. If you're more comfortable spinning to the left, then you could switch your feet, but then you're going to want to start throwing your bar spin with the other hand. Otherwise, that's going to be goofy footed. Whereas right now, you're spinning to the right because you're left foot forward. You're also throwing the bars with your left hand. Um, and I'm assuming, because yeah, Jared just said that's normal, isn't it? I'm assuming you were trying your hop threes to the right, but you'd rather do it to the left. I
Right.
think that's what you're trying to say. Because otherwise, yes, left foot forward, spinning to the right is technically the correct way.
Mm.
So right now, it's like if you're left foot forward and you switch your feet to go the other way, then your bar spin is going to be wrong. Um, but my biggest advice is that right now you're so early in your progression stages, just pick something and go with it. Like if you spend
you may be more comfortable right now spinning to the left, but if you just keep working on it to the right, eventually, like, it won't take long until you forget that you're more comfortable spinning to the left. Um, because it's still going to take you a long time to learn the 360 that way, even though in your head it feels right. Once you start to master it, you're really not going to notice the difference. Um, so I would keep it like, it took me a long time because I always spun goofy footed, and it took me a long time to not only first change my bar spin direction, but then change my spin direction. And after a while, you get real comfortable. For example, I always, on the trampoline, I always did side flips to the left. Like, 'cause that's the way I cartwheel. I always did side flips that way. But I always wanted to, like, be able to front flip on a snowboard off of rails, which is pretty much like a side flip. But I'm
But
goofy
it had to
footed.
be the other way.
It had to be the other way. And so I went on the trampoline, started learning on the other direction, and I would say literally within 2 weeks, I never wanted to go left. Like, never thought left was the more comfortable way. I
Mm,
go both ways equally, but I'd rather go to the right. And it only took 2 weeks to switch that perspective.
yeah.
Like, I think if, especially this early on, just pick something and go with it. Like, if I could bring every rider, I'd be like, here's your foot forward. This is the way you're going to spin. This is the way you're going to throw your bars. This is the way you're going to tail whip. Learn it that way, even though it may not feel comfortable. Because when you're first riding, nothing's really that comfortable when you think about it. Like, you can think of which way you'd want to tail whip, but both ways are going to be equally bad. So you may as well
Yeah.
just master it the easier way. You
Right,
know what
the
I
way
mean?
that's going to work better for you. Yeah, I'd say
Yeah, because a
exact
360 is
same.
still hard.
Yeah. Well, and Chad, if you like do what feels comfortable, right? And you're going to be just fine. And now let's say few months from now you get it the other way, right? So then it's technically you're doing a switch spin, but that feels more comfortable for you. Later on, you'll have an easier time learning opposite because it's going the correct way. You know what I mean? I mean, so just yeah, do whatever is comfortable. And I know a guy that I used to ride with here in El Paso, and he was goofy footed. He struggled with 360s, struggled, finally got him. And then it was like a week later, he learned them the other way. And so then he had regular and switch just on lock. He learned it so quick because it was really useful for him to struggle through it the opposite way. And then, but when he did it the correct way, it worked out really quickly once you kind of overcome that. So what you're doing, I think, is fine, man. And yeah,
Ooh, we opened we opened something up here.
well,
All right, we got some switch questions. Here we
cool.
go.
I'm gonna
Okay,
try and put them on
Jared.
screen.
Jared almost died. That's the first
Oh
thing I
no,
just.
Jared, don't
All
die.
kinds of in the way. The peg. Okay, so Belial, Belial 61. How is throwing your bars switch wrong? That's where you're wrong. So to clarify, uh, there I would say, okay, if that's your confident side, that should be normal, and the so-called weak way should be your switch. That is correct.
Mm,
That is a correct statement.
right.
We're not talking about throwing your bars switch, because yes, switch is just whichever way is your uncomfortable way.
The opposite way that you normally do it.
But goofy, throwing your bars goofy is again not wrong. That's how I learned it. A lot of like for some people, their goofy footed bar is their switch bar, but for some people, the goofy footed bar is the wrong one. And so, Amanda Jean, to answer your question, goofy footed bar spins is throwing your bar into your back foot. So if you're left foot forward and you throw with your left hand, that is a normal way to do the bar spin. Now, I go super in depth on like kind of like the physics of a lot of these things and goofy footed when it comes to spinning and tail whips and bar spins and why it actually matters. Because it's not just talking about switch and regular. It's actually talking about how your body is working against yourselves when you do tricks with either the wrong hand, the wrong direction, with the wrong foot forward. It's actually like a big can of worms. But in the bar spin sense, let's take an example. When I was learning bar spins, I'm left foot forward. It took me months to learn it with my right hand. Bike kept tipping over, bike kept falling over. I had to really learn to pinch that seat to hold the bike stable. First try throwing the bars with my left hand, completely uncomfortable direction. Learned it first try. Throwing it with the left hand, didn't pinch at all. Still don't have to pinch when I'm that way because the bike stays stable. When you throw into your front foot,
Right.
you push the bike into that front leg, and the front leg is there to hold it. When you throw the bars into your back leg, you're throwing into this dead space in the bike, and it pushes the bike down, which is why you see a lot of people do goofy footed bars. Their bike goes like this when they do it, unless they're pinching really hard. So Belia L61, there's nothing wrong about doing switch bars, and there's also nothing wrong with goofy footed bars. It's just physically harder. It's physically harder. And I know for some people, it's hard to think of that being harder if that's your more comfortable way. It takes you doing it both ways to go, oh, yeah,
That
it
was
is
easy.
much harder. Like throwing your bars the correct way, like totally letting go, is way easier than throwing them the other way if you don't pinch. If you pinch, you can do both ways no matter what. It doesn't matter. Like Nyquist does his goofy footed, but
And he has
hopefully
the
that
hack
explains.
with his seat way up there, so it's a
Yeah.
lot. Like if your seat's up at your knees, it's a lot easier to pinch and keep it from dipping. When it's way down below your calves, then there's a lot of dip whenever you're throwing your bars. That was a good question, Belial. Is that
Yeah,
what you said?
and hopefully that makes sense to you
Right.
guys.
It's
It's
harder
a
because math. That's why.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I think I go into it for like 15 minutes
In
in
the
bike
course.
school.
Yeah.
In the course, I have a video talking about all the switch things and the goofy footed spins and the goofy footed this and that. And I'm a goofy foot rider. I do a lot of things goofy foot, so I understand.
Well, and there's certain tricks that are easier in a sense, being goofy footed, right?
Um,
360
Swi
down whip.
Three down whips, switch spinning, which is funny because there's a lot of goofy footed riders that can't three down whip. It's different when you kick it with the back foot.
Yeah.
When you do a three down whip and you kick with the front foot, the bike stays more stable. You're more above it. You get more
Mm,
dipped when you do it the other way. Um, it's weird. Like there's a lot of people who can't do it. Like a lot of riders would rather do a switch three whip than a three down whip.
that's
But
great.
once you figure it out, obviously that's a goofy footer's go-to trick, the three down whip. Like Buckworth. Buckworth's goofy footed, but with his whips, not his spins. So he does three down whips. So does Josh Holt. Josh Holt is goofy footed with his whips. So he does three down whips and three double downs, just like Buckworth does.
Mm,
But theirs look like a normal three down whip for a normal person because they do a goofy footed whip. Whereas we do it all ass backwards.
Juan,
Jared, yes.
what's up, Juan?
Normal is you throw your bars with the same hand as your forward foot. Yes. Normal. And I hate using normal, but people always talk about goofy and normal, so I want to make sure there's like a actual explanation so when kids are at the skate park, hey, goofy footed. Make sure they know what they're talking about.
Did oh no, wait. This question. Arian Tafty. Indoor skate park supplies in
Belial.
Toronto. What's up? Oh,
Oh,
Belial.
sorry.
Oh, you're reading how to say it.
Belial. Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Appreciate
Belial.
it.
What should Arian Tafty practice at home? How big is your living room, Arian Tafty? Just kidding. Don't make your mom mad or your wife mad. Nick has some drills though.
I got some drills, but also, have you seen the build a manual machine video? Because you could put one of those in your living room for sure, or your garage, or your bath. You could put it in your bathroom if you got a nice bathroom.
You could.
If you got a big shower, you could even put it in there. I don't know.
That'd be a fun video. Where can you put your manual machine? It's just like cuts of it in the
Dude, on the
dumbest places you
roof,
practice
the truck
manuals.
bed.
On your van.
Yeah, on top of the
That'd
van.
be crazy. Yeah,
Um,
manual machine. That's a good idea. 'Cause
yeah.
you can do manuals. You could also do nose manuals. Pull-up bars. Was it Thomas wants to do pull-up bars on his?
Oh
How that
yeah.
would work, but it's worth a shot, I guess.
Oh, I think you could do it. Manual machine, like manual trainer. That is something to practice. Obviously, like, and then in the street, at home, like, because it just says indoor skate parks. Maybe if your street isn't covered in snow, because cars drive on there. So I mean, you could still work on, manuals, bunny hops, drills. Like you can work on track stands. Do like body position holds, do some stationary hops, just like anything to like work on balance and overall bike skill, front wheel lifts, back wheel lifts. Like I think a lot of people think they're too good for those types of drills, and that's totally wrong. I do most of those things almost every time that I ride now, and it has been helping so much. Like it's crazy how much very, very, very basic skills help, especially when like people are like, "Oh, I don't need to do those drills," and you do them, and I'll tell you like, do 30 stationary hops, you're gonna get 10 in and be like, "I can't do it anymore."
Right. You'll be
Like
tired. You'll be sore.
you probably fall over. Like they're a lot harder than you think, and they're working the muscles you need to be working. Um, so
The foot jams, that's a good idea, Arian. For me, I would go up and I'd try to foot jam on a quarter and I'd get into it, but I could never like hold it long enough and control it right to hop in. And so I just started going on flat ground, foot jamming, and getting steep enough so I'm in like just the locked position and being able to hop around and keep it controlled. Like with each hop, if you dip your nose more, you get steeper, and vice versa. You can do that to control it. And after I started working on just that part, it was like really easy to hop, foot jam a quarter, and then move around. Now people will make fun of you for it if you're hopping around up there for 10 minutes and then hop back in. But for me, figuring out how to control my body like that was the only way I could get foot jams in. And then after a while, you can control it to where you hop in the right position. But really, anything that you're doing like that builds muscles around your bike or builds bike control around your bike is going to help you out in the long run. If you have a decent sized basement, you're good. How do you feel about back tricks though, Nick? Do they
um,
actually help?
well, hold on, real quick. I
Oh
just
yeah,
wanted to say it's funny because tire taps didn't click to me until I started doing trials riding and started like
hop
learning how to
solo.
hop on the back
Yeah,
wheel because it was the same. I could always get up into the tire tap, but could never like figure out how to like lean myself in. And then like I tried it for weeks, and then I got a trials bike, spent like a week learning how to just hop around the back wheel. Next day was just doing tire taps, and I learned a boobakas, and like it just all of a sudden made sense to me.
yeah.
So same with the foot jams. So like there's a lot of things you can adapt from flat ground, but on the back tricks, good for going viral on TikTok, but I would say not 100% not good for anything, but pretty close to 100% not good for anything.
Right.
Because
95%.
like I know a lot of guys who can do like 20 tail whips on their back and can't tail whip, and I also know that I can't barely do one tail whip on my back, and also me with my hips, that position being on my back, I'm like bent
Yeah.
over. I can barely even get my legs like off of the bike. Like filming that TikTok was really difficult for me. Like my legs literally don't move. Like I cannot bend them, so I can't even do a tail whip on my back. Um, but what they do help for, I think, is grasping the basic understanding of a turn down
Yeah.
and also an unturn down. They do that, but the one thing I used to do in the apartment on my back is I would do like leg lift holds in like Superman seat grab positions. Like when you're like doing a core workout, like
Mhm.
you're laying on your back and you're holding
Yeah.
your legs up and your shoulders blades off the ground. Well, hold your legs up like that and then
With the
hold the bike
Superman.
up in like Superman seat grab style and then like switch. So there's like different exercises, but actually just like doing tricks
Yeah.
absolutely I don't think is helpful. But what is helpful, I think, one of my friends, Josh, he said to me, he's like, you know what you need to put into bike school? And I was like, what? He's like, you need to show them how to make a trampoline bike. And I was like, I don't know. And then I had to listen to him because I was like, you know what? This is the only friend that I have that literally doesn't ride bikes and can do a double whip on a trampoline bike and learn to tail up in 5 minutes on a real bike.
Really? So you think learning the double whip on the tramp bike helped him with the normal tail whip?
Yes, absolutely.
Ah,
Because you have to think every other trick on a trampoline bike can't say it works. I think no foot cans translate really well. I can literally, I feel exactly the same on the trampoline bike when I do a no foot can. lots of tricks don't feel anything the same. Like I can do like 5 bar spins in one air on the tramp bike. You're never gonna see me do even 3 straight
Yeah.
on the mountain bike. Like it's not gonna happen. Um, that's because when you do a bar spin on the trampoline bike, you're like grabbing the back of the frame. You're not on the pedals. It's a very different
And
position.
there's no
But
wheel
the
spinning.
yeah, but the tail whip, you got to think to do a tail whip on a trampoline bike, you are doing the exact same thing.
Right.
Like to do a double whip on a trampoline bike or a triple whip, if you have a full size frame and bars and fork in there, it takes almost the same amount of effort to do it. Obviously, you don't have the wheel, so you have a little bit less weight. But like, I can't triple whip a trampoline bike. It's scary. I feel like I'm gonna die. Spencer does it
Yeah.
all the time.
Break your
But
ankles.
yeah, or like land on it on my face. But it's the same motion, and so if you can be like consistently doing double whips on a trampoline bike, you're kicking and you're like catching. Guarantee you, when you go to like tail up a bike, as long as you're committing and getting enough height, you'll figure it out quick because you're getting the timing. Like someone who didn't know how to tail up at all, if they tried to double up a trampoline bike, they'd end up working against it, and the thing would kind of not really do anything, or it'd be like
Yeah.
way up here. But if you're able to do it on a trampoline bike, like there's no reason why you couldn't do it.
Well, there's a lot of like the way tricks kind of go together. There's like I remember the table video. The specific thing with a table is like your feet are turning, your knees are bending, your arms are doing like every piece of your body for almost any trick has to be working together in a certain way. And so when you're trying something on your back, you don't have the gravity really fighting you. So making it piece together is good to understand the concept. Like Jared said on Mike's dance comp video, turn down, and we did that with the bike school, the turn down thing. Like that gets you to understand the concept, but as far as like say a tail whip or 5 bar spins, you don't have it fighting you, and so it doesn't really translate the same. But then on the tramp bike, you're floating down, and so you've got to also understand timing. You've got to understand how everything goes together. I don't know. I suck at the tramp bike though. I'm really bad. Like I'm so bad at it.
Well, the thing about the tramp bike, if you're not comfortable bouncing on a trampoline, it's not going to be comfortable for you. Um, but and I don't like it on the Woodward West trampolines. At Tahoe on the Super Tramp, I like it because there's more surface area, so you don't get bounced by the springs sideways.
Mm.
Because otherwise, I always feel like I'm gonna break an ankle or something. But like on a backyard tramp, like I used to do like flip Supermans and stuff in my backyard on little tramp bikes, and it's really funny to like look back and look at that most of the tricks that I was doing on a tramp bike are all tricks that I do on my real bike. Like before I had hip problems, I was always doing heel clickers on the tramp bike. It immediately translated over to the real bike because once I learned how to do no footers and like certain tricks, I would just picture that I was like going up the ramp and hopping just like I was bouncing on the trampoline, and then I would just
Yeah.
do the same motion with my body, and then I'm just going back to pedals instead of just the ground. And no foot cans, like I said, they feel exactly the same. And on the trampoline bike, you can like feel out how you pull it up when you no foot can, or like Superman seat grab Indian airs. Like they feel almost exactly the same. There's just obviously the takeoff and the landing part is different. But once you're comfortable jumping and you're in the air with like a kind of like a floating sensation, you can really do the same things. But really, to me, the tramp bike was always just something that was fun and
Yeah.
kept me really interested in bikes, and it was just another form of bikes. Like I always did the snowboard on the trampoline as well, which also helped a lot. Air awareness, flips and spins, and I'm a huge person thinking that trampolines is helpful for almost any action sport, in any form.
I'm shopping for
But
trampolines right now.
dude, I want a Euro tramp. They're like 17 grand.
Oh my God. I'm
Yeah.
like, maybe I'd spend 300 to put one in the backyard to play around on a tramp bike. Like that'd be really
Oh,
fun,
well,
you know?
you could just get, you could just get like a Walmart one
Yeah,
for
that's
that.
I'm on Walmart
No,
right
I
now.
want I want like a Olympic Euro tramp. But yeah, like the tail whips though, I would say that's the one trick that like you actually really could kind of figure it out on a tramp bike, and the rest of it's just fun. And it will translate. Like if you're at the level on a real bike,
Mm,
you can figure out how to make it translate. I'm not saying like all of a sudden if you're doing kick flips on the tramp bike that you're just going to be able to do it on a real bike,
right.
or that if you can do three double whips on a tramp bike, you can do it on a real bike. It's not that simple, but there is a very, very strong overlap where you can make things relate. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a certain understanding of the bike and the bike control for
Yeah.
that to even be a
But
thing.
bar spins don't translate. Bar spins don't translate at all. Like I said, I can go bar back, bar back, bar back, and I just can't do it on a bike. It's not the same.
Belial says I need a square or a rectangle. I don't see any of those at Walmart. I see a nice circle 1,000 pound weight limit. I could definitely hop on that one.
Yeah. Nah, circle's fine for backyards. It's all about the mat. And the string
Mm,
mats are where they get really expensive. The mat for a Euro tramp is like 7 grand alone.
what's
Just
the
the mat.
mat? That's the
The
thing
mat
that
is
the
what you
springs hold on to?
no yeah no the mat is like the actual part that you're bouncing on.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we
Let's
got
see.
CX4130 says, "Hey BMX fan, hello."
Hello. Sergio says, "Is tail up harder than a bar spin?" Very subjective, I think.
Mm,
For a very long time, and probably even now, I would probably rather tail whip over bar spin. I think, I think at first I kind of learned them both at the same time. Can't really say which one's harder. But like if you were like, hey, go tail whip this big gap or bar spin it, I'm gonna choose a tail whip for sure. I feel like it's a little safer, but I know there's a lot of people who are very on the other side of that.
yeah. I
I would say,
would rather whip something too.
yeah,
But when you think about learning that trick, I'm again the same as you. Like they came pretty close together. I think I learned bars a little bit before whips, but it was like once something clicked, they all kind of started happening. But it, to actually attempt a whip, I think is a lot less scary for people. And so we start to try tail whips before bars because like you can take your feet off and kick the bike and like land on your feet with the bike next to you and you're fine. But if you take your hands off and throw a bar spin and land without your hands, like that's a pretty scary thing.
yeah,
So I think a lot of people start working on tail whips earlier and then realize, well, this is way harder than I thought, and then kind of move to bar spins. And once you overcome that fear with bar spins, I think they're easier, but they're still more scary. But I think they're easier because
yeah.
there's less going on.
I mean, like if I was, if it's like first, like I just padded up, just like roll in, was going to say hi to my buddy on like the other ramp, I just fly out and do a bar spin.
Yeah.
It takes once you know how to bar spin, takes virtually zero effort whatsoever, and a bar spin on a mountain bike and a BMX bike, virtually the same. Like takes just as little effort on a mountain bike as it does on a BMX bike. Now, tail up on the other hand takes way more effort on a mountain bike than it does on a BMX bike. The physics are this like the motion and stuff is all the same, but physically the bike is bigger. It takes more effort to get it going around, and it takes more effort to stop it. So it's like I'm not gonna just like roll into a little fly out and do like a whip
Yeah.
because it takes more airtime. But with that being said, just because it takes a little bit more energy doesn't necessarily make it harder. I don't know. It's very subjective. Like I said, like
Yeah.
I would choose tail ups over bar spins. Like a high speed bar spin is the scariest thing in the world to me.
I think a lot of we put in our heads, we're like, what is the risk versus reward, And to me, landing, I don't know. See, my thoughts always fly out because that's just my kind of riding. I'm never thinking like, oh, if I throw a tail whip over this big double and I don't catch my feet, what's going to happen? But I'm like, if I do a bar spin tail whip and it doesn't work out, that's fine. If you do a bar spin fly out and your hands don't catch, the risk there is a little bit higher. But over a big jump, well, I don't know. What if you do a big double and you miss a whip? Like, what happens? How bad is that?
See, in my head, you just don't.
It
Yeah.
doesn't happen, right? Because you
No,
go.
like you got so much airtime, it just doesn't happen. Like, um, the thing is you don't. I feel like if you're when you're doing tail ups on a big stuff,
Mhm.
you're if you don't dead whip,
Yeah,
you're gonna catch your pedals. Like you're just at that level. It's just there's kind of something that's like you have so much airtime, it's almost impossible to not land on the pedals. You may slip a pedal sometimes,
yeah,
But on one tail whip, like slipping pedals is totally possible, but you don't just miss. Like it becomes a trick that's so ingrained in your head that like
Hmm.
the second your front foot comes off and you kick, you're just like tunnel visioned. The trick happens, you do it. But you could definitely dead whip. You kick at the wrong
Yeah.
time on a real big jump, and you just do
You,
this.
you
Yeah.
remember that video? I feel like it was at a Vegas dirt contest, but the guy does a dead sailors it and lands like head first sliding down the landing. Do you remember that video? It's pretty old. I feel like it was a
I
Godziak.
don't know.
Yeah. Oh, it
Could
was
have
crazy
been.
though, because he just like gets the whip halfway around and he's just kicking his feet, and you're like, at that moment, game over.
Well,
But
in when I was in Rotorua, when I was out there for Crankworks, we were in New Zealand for a couple weeks, and they were doing slope style, and Nikolai, I didn't compete in Crankworks by the way,
uh-huh.
but Nikolai on the second jump went to kick a double whip, and halfway through the first whip on this huge jump, kicked his front wheel and let go, and just like flailed. It was gnarly, so gnarly.
You got so many things to contemplate while you're floating through the air like that too.
Oh, you're pretty much just like, this is gonna suck.
Hey, Chad, this is for you guys who haven't joined yet, but you're thinking about it. Chad says to do yourself a favor, and become a member. So listen to Chad's a smart guy. I would definitely listen to Chad.
Let's see, hold on.
Well,
Let's see. You ever seen people do a tail with their back on the ground? And oh, I think that's what we just talked about. Um, we already did that. So
yeah.
practicing hang fives, tuck no handers, tiger grab, etc. with a manual trainer helps. Manual trainer pretty much only for manuals.
Yeah, hang five would be, yeah. Whoa. How would you do any of these other tricks on a manual trainer? Okay, what about this? What if you tied a rope from like a big ceiling, right? It have to be a pretty big ceiling. Put
Really curious where
tire,
you're going with this.
hang a rope from your roof, and you make like a rope swing in your house. And maybe you don't actually swing, but you could like levitate there, like you're on your bike, and then you could work on different
like
stuff.
a harness,
Yeah, like a
like a
harness.
trapeze.
Right. Um, you might break your ceiling. I don't know. That'd be pretty tough. But
I
and then
think
again, you don't have the
so.
gravity.
Well, I was gonna say it. The problem we talk about in bike school so much is how powerful your chest is when you're
Hmm.
riding, where your chest goes. If you're being suspended by your chest, you can't lean forward or
Yeah.
backwards. You're stuck. So all the tricks are happening
Like
totally
this.
wrong. You know? So yeah, you practice it. Imagine you do that in the air. Fucking, you do a tuck no hander. Your back's like up like this. You
Yeah.
loop it.
Yeah. You'll be the loop lord after that. Um, and I think on the manual trainer, we're gonna test it, Amanda. But nose manuals, maybe. Maybe that's something you can work on. Manuals and nose
Yeah,
manuals. But other
we're
than
gonna
that,
test the nosies. I'm a little bit afraid to fall on my face. I want to put a front brake on for that because I gotta get so steep. It's pretty much like there's 100% chance that I fall on my
yeah.
face, and I can't just like hop over the bars when I'm at a dead stop.
Yeah, because if your
Like
feet catch the bars while you're
if
going
you're
down, that's
riding,
no
you can
good.
push it down and you have forward momentum. If you don't have any momentum and you're just in place, you tip over. No chance I get off the bike. I'm just gonna fall in the. Hopefully,
Put a
though,
mat.
actually,
Put a
hopefully
mat
when you
right
go
there.
forward, the no, I don't think it would happen. I was say hopefully when I went forward, the fork stanchions would like hit the wood, and it would stop me. Ooh,
So you could
that
you
actually could
could probably
happen.
build something into it so that if you do tip over that point, it'll stop you,
Just
and then
just
you're
put it
just
back up against the wall. So if you go too far forward, you just rest your forehead on the wall.
smack your head. You've got a
Just
hole there from your head.
and then go backwards. Do it again. That'd
That
be
could work.
great.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's crazy how steep you actually have to get to lock into like it is so scary. Because when I do it, and I suck at nose manuals, but when I'm in it, I'm like I feel straight up and down, and then you're just barely moving your chest to like control it. But being like that, locked in the manual trainer, you're just looking straight down, like, oh my god, what did I just
Yeah.
do? Um, Belial, thank you. Belial says thanks for the content, and you are definitely welcome. If you enjoy it, all we ask is share it with your friends. That's it. That's all. But you're welcome. David had to leave. David was on my live last Friday for like I was supposed to start at 11, then I didn't actually start it till 12, and like at 11:30 he's like I got to go back to work. Like he took time out to come hang out, and then I ghosted everyone, but he made
Ooh.
it to this one for a bit, so that's good.
Let's see. Victor. Chad left too.
Oh,
See
bye
you,
Chad,
Chad.
have a good night.
Um, this is a good question. This is my this is my strong suit.
Your specialty.
I crash a lot. Um, Pretty notorious for being the dude on the trip that everyone goes, "Bro, are you good?" Like I'm pretty much that guy. No, for real though, I pride myself and very thankful for my ability to literally jump out of the air and tuck and roll. And honestly, that's why I was so stoked. One of our new bike school members does parkour. He did a flip in the parking lot,
Yeah, that was cool.
and I thought that was really cool because that's what I did in high school. I did a lot of parkour, and I think definitely, parkour and like snowboarding. I think those definitely like, have saved myself from so much injury because I learned how to, as just a dumb kid, I learned how to like jump off of like fences and roofs and stuff and land and tuck and roll. And you can take something like 80% of the impact away with a proper tuck and roll. And I pretty much treat everything like that. Like if I'm, mid spin and I'm letting go, kind of just trying to look for that landing, I'm rolling the windows down, trying to keep my feet aimed into the ground, and that's trampolines help with all that kind of stuff, like getting that air awareness, fixing yourself. Like when you're doing flips and spins on a trampoline, when you get messed up, there's going to be times where you like start flipping, unintentionally you start like flipping because you got bounced wrong, and you have to be able to like save it and like basically force yourself to do that full flip. And like you start getting comfortable kind of going any which way. So say you're like mid spin or mid flip whip. You're mid flip whip and it dies. I basically would just hold on, and I'm still flipping because I started the flip off the lip. So the flip is still coming around, and then as soon as I see the landing, throw the bike because then I know it's behind me, and I pull my feet up to me to finish that flip and push them down into the ground, and I'll like stay under rotated. So I'm basically coming almost like chest down, and I'll land on my feet first, compress, and then just like roll over the shoulder. And obviously, I mean, it's a risky little game because if you go to do that and you're not leaned far enough forward, you will just land and squat and break yourself from certain height. But pretty much like my best advice would be, watch like parkour videos, like visit a gymnasium and spend some time like just bouncing on trampolines, learning how to like stable yourself, but also like just go like on a gym mat, like at a gymnasium, and not like a basketball gymnasium, like an actual like gym,
Right, right.
like or a trampoline place, and just practice literally like running and jumping and landing on your feet and like rolling over your shoulder. Like it's like one of the most basic skills that they teach, um, people that do parkour and stuff. And I think it's a very, very valuable skill to have. Sorry, I got the hiccups. I think it's a very valuable skill. Sorry, that was a long answer to a short question.
I think,
Um,
well, Victor C, is this Victor C that's in bike school? Or is this a
I would
different Victor C? I think it
I would
is.
assume so. Yeah.
Um, I never thought of that, but when I crash on something decent, you just compress and then drop over your shoulder just like that. And that's so interesting to try and incorporate the parkour to that side of things. But those guys, they're jumping off freaking buildings, landing,
Yeah.
compressing, and rolling out. And so, I mean, essentially be the same thing, like learning that. That's a really
Yeah.
good
Or
idea.
like if you land backwards, you're landing backwards and you're compressing and rolling off of your back over that way. And like honestly, like it's basically just taking the falling. I mean, for me, it comes from parkour. That's where it comes from. And I was never really good at parkour. It's just I did it.
It was
Um,
fun.
but really, you can see it in skateboarders. You got to think how many times those guys try to ollie a stair set, kick the board away, land and roll, and
Yeah.
get up and do it again. If they were trying to land and squat it out, they'd be dead. And yes, does tucking and rolling, does it still hurt? Yeah, because now your whole body's hitting the ground. And yes, you get out of it pretty well, but if you're doing it on the concrete, you're still going to get scraped up or on the dirt. But it's getting scraped up is way better than just like flailing and smacking the ground.
Well, and when you're compressed like that, like if your arms are out and you hit the ground, you've got a good chance to break something, right? If you're tucked up like this, you'll probably get scrapes and bruises, but it's never going to be as bad as snapping your arm or your hand or something like that. Is Victor, is that what you mean by roll away, or do you mean like if you dog a trick, like how do you roll out of it on your bike?
Yeah, he said just an
Well, I
older
assume what
rider.
you're saying. I assume that's what
Yeah,
he's saying.
just an older rider and want to get better, but I have a fear of getting hurt. Um, so I mean, so I guess maybe I jumped the gun on that. I think I feel like there's like an amount of air time that you need to be able to get off the bike and jump and land and roll out. Um, I would say, one is building up the strength in your wrist, where if you fall over, you can land in like the kind of the push up or still roll. Like I think there's still, if you're gonna crash and you're still on the bike, there's still this like, okay, let's save it in here and try to make to roll it out. Like you're gonna roll better than if you just hit the ground. And I think being confident in like putting a foot down to save yourself. Um, but the hardest thing for me is to explain on like smaller jumps or anything how to safely crash. Because I've always thought that sometimes smaller jumps can bite you because you don't have the time to like adjust.
Yeah.
And if you jump and you get all weird on like a really small jump, you kind of have nothing you can do. You don't have time to get off. So I think that's where the foot comes in, or just really like always tucking and rolling. I would say it's not always good to do this if you're not strong. To me, if I do this, it's usually like it's not trying to catch myself. It's trying to like judge where the ground is, and then the arms kind of like roll in. Like you can see slow motion crashes. Arms come down, and then they like tuck in like this. You're trying to like create a surface kind of.
Well, I think when you're even on smaller things, you've got a good point. You know those little kickers, right? Those kill more people than anything because you get this high off the air, but it bucks you wrong, and there's nothing you can do about it. But one tip there. So Victor says that you answered it good, so I think that's exactly what he was asking. But on the smaller things, like you've got to find a good balance of not being afraid to ditch your bike because like the aerial awareness that Nick's talking about, like countering your body weight to make sure you level yourself out, it only works, like our natural ability to do that only works when we don't have 26 pounds of metal attached to us. So like if something doesn't feel right, I promise tossing the bike and maybe breaking a pedal or something like that is a lot better than when you're gonna, if you hold on to the bike, that crash is generally a lot worse. But you don't want to overdo that either. I see a lot of people who ditch the bike when they would have landed the trick. So you've got to find that happy medium, but don't be scared to do it because I think that'll get you out of those smaller crashes, like a fly out 360. If it doesn't feel right, you can take your feet off and kind of toss the bike to the side and then roll out of that a lot easier than staying on it, landing 270 and dropping over onto your shoulder and your head. Um, so yeah, don't be. You can always replace bike parts. Hospital bills are pretty expensive.
Yeah. Here, Doug, I have a pretty prime ejectocito
Video.
example, yes, of
Good.
myself.
Good.
And it's on the same drop that 360 crash was on, where I stayed on the bike, so we can see the damage that was done when I stayed on versus got off. Oh, I gotta find it. I'm on my Instagram on the desktop. This is pretty cool.
Andro.
And
Is Andro our newest member?
Yes.
He's in here in the chat, huh? What's up, Andre?
Awesome. What's up, dude? Sorry, I can't see the screen right now. I'm on the
Andre, we were talking about
Instagram.
your side flip and how rad it was.
Yeah, we were just talking about doing parkour and how much it translates and how it saves you when you're crashing and stuff.
Um, he says, why
Okay,
do you
here.
think bike flips are not as common? That'll be a good one to talk about.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I just want to show how to like see how do I screen share.
Oh, just do it and then I'll put it on the screen.
Okay, I understand. Let's proceed. Um, Chrome
Are
tab.
you guys ready for this?
Okay, first I'm going to show you this photo.
Okay. I'm going to share it.
Sure.
Okay.
You see this photo?
Yes.
Okay, so this was my feet hit about right here. I have a frame by frame of it of the whole thing. My feet hit, and this is my tuck and roll. You can see that this one wasn't such a good tuck and roll, but I did roll successfully, and you'll see in the video that I literally like flip, land, roll, and then I'm like instantly up on my feet.
How fast do you
Um,
think you were going?
um, Not very fast because it's on the drop.
Oh.
But wait, I thought it would have been right there. That's the one where I landed it. What the heck? What on planet Earth? Sorry, guys.
We're
I
just
thought it would have
keeping
been.
the Instagram.
I thought it would have been right there. What is
Why are all your
going on?
pictures such high quality? What the heck?
Because they're taken with a real camera. This is when I had hip. This is when I had hip surgery. I was trying to do this whole like blue scheme. I had a lot of time off. 2 hip surgeries. Dude, I don't know where it is though.
It wasn't that
Oh wait.
PMB?
Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, it does show videos on here. What the heck? Dude. Hold on. Let me stop sharing that real quick. I have it in Dropbox.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna find it in Dropbox.
It literally should have been there.
Andro, I think bike flips are not as common because it's that same well, two things like the risk reward type thing that we were talking about earlier. Like some tricks are just a lot riskier, and bike flips can be, especially if you don't understand the mechanics of it. And then they're also that's a really hard trick to like practice to understand how it works. Like a tail whip or a bar spin, you can kind of stand by your bike and throw the bar spin to know how to drop your hand back and catch it and yada yada yada. Bike flip, you can't just like, I mean, you can, that's how I learned them, but you can't just like stand there and do the bike flip and practice it that way. Like it takes a lot of strength and it's really hard to do. So I think just actually practicing it like that is damn near impossible. And
They're really inconsistent. Is a really, really inconsistent trick. Like Nikolai's been working on them, and he says like he'll do like 10 in a row where they just feel so dialed, and then he won't be able to do it for like 2 weeks. Like they're just not. They're not like a tail whip. The so many things can change.
yeah, when
Okay,
I've
here it
only
is.
landed two, and the two that I landed, the amount of like throwing your chest this way off the thing and keeping the bike under you is so crazy. And then each time you pop off the lip, it could be a little bit different. And so they're hard to be consistent with.
Okay, here's
It's here.
this. Yeah,
Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is the crash video
here. So we'll
of you
we'll
tucking
start
and
right
rolling.
here. Yeah. So it's on this drop.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's bad quality because it's in Dropbox. Yeah, so basically I missed the pop on the flip because there's no lip here. I'm just flipping off a flat. And so you can see,
For me, it's
like
really
I have
hard
the
to
frame,
see.
but oh, is it?
Hmm.
Oh,
It's just
um,
it's real choppy.
ooh, hold on. Maybe I just have the frame by frame photos. Um, I definitely have them on my phone. Need to get You need to plan these things out more so I can figure this
Hot man
out.
on the spot.
Okay, so hold on. Here, let's see.
Hey, Amanda uses her couch to keep herself from flipping over and dying instead of the wall.
Here.
That's a much better idea. Oh, well, here. Wait. Oh, wait. I'll unshare the screen. There we go. Okay. Here
Okay,
we go. We can see it.
so this is a frame by frame of it. Okay, let's make sure I swipe the right way. Okay, so basically, missed the pop. You can see like I'm struggling. I'm like, oh no, and then so there, I let go, and I tuck in my legs. See, I'm up there. Photographer didn't really get it. And but see, look, I'm literally bike is like way above me,
Right.
and I flipped, and I'm like waiting for the ground. See, look at that. Look at the
You're starting to tuck. Yeah.
look at the
Perfect.
posture. Look, feet on the ground. Look at that. Feet just on the ground, and then boom, face first, and then like I said, not really a solid roll because there's so much force, but still a roll. Bike didn't hit me somehow, and then got up.
Yeah.
And then and then the coolest part about the story is that um, I got up and hold on, I'll show this just real quick. Coolest part about the story is that right after I crashed, I said it couldn't get any worse, and stomped it. Stomped it.
That's what you, Ryan, that's what I was going to say.
What?
He says, what about that Nick Hilton Virgin folder in Dropbox? It means Virgin, Utah, right? But Nick Hilton Virgin folder.
I don't know. Oh yeah, it's just two photos from Virgin when we were filming for Reed's Yeti documentary. Ooh, it's a dope photo though. You want to see the photo? I'll show you. I might get in trouble. No, just kidding. I already posted this on my Instagram.
You already got in trouble.
Yeah. Let's see. No, this is something that another photographer took of me. It's a dope one. 3 table on the enduro bike.
Whoa, sorry. This is in Virgin.
Yeah. It's a three table on the enduro bike.
That's so cool.
This is the lip right here.
The landscape.
I know it's dope.
Bonita.
Está bonita.
Hey, Jared's been working out, and he's on his 3rd week of exercising. He hasn't skipped anything, but now he's going to change the diet a bunch. I sent him a Texas Roadhouse gift card, so he's got to change his diet after Texas Roadhouse. But you've been working out too pretty consistently. I ask you every week. I'm like, any improvements?
Yeah,
anything
I've
yet?
been doing better. I went today. I definitely can feel myself getting stronger there.
Yeah.
And also getting more comfortable and kind of being able to like I'm realizing that I'm able to do more different exercise like if I'm like today I did like like back and biceps, and I was able to do more different types of back stuff instead of without going to exhaustion. I was able to do more stuff like pace. I've learned how to pace myself a little bit better. But tomorrow will actually be the first. Tomorrow I'm gonna do some legs in the morning, and then I'm gonna ride in the evening. And tomorrow will be the first time I've ridden since like I think right before Christmas. So
Oh, cool.
hopefully we'll actually feel it out. But also I wouldn't count on it being anything of substantial. Like if I could see results because I haven't rode in 2 weeks, so.
Right.
I wouldn't be like I don't. I'm probably just gonna chill tomorrow. I'm not gonna. I don't expect to be a superstar. I wouldn't expect to be a superstar anyways. But
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably noticing though that you're less sore because it's been a couple weeks of it. So now.
oh yeah, the next day I'm not sore at all.
Yeah,
Really.
and that's good
And
because then
I'm not
you can
doing
overcome that
crazy
hurdle,
stuff.
and
Yeah.
it's not so bad to go to the gym because you're not like thinking, how bad am I going to feel tomorrow?
Ooh, one thing that I have figured out since we last talked about it though is I always think there's like the glutes aren't firing, some IT band stuff.
Yeah.
And I use all the walk on like the treadmill for like 10 minutes, just kind of like warm up, get used to being at the gym. And you know, your glutes are supposed to be activated when you're walking. You're supposed to be using them. They're supposed to be holding you up. Mine don't do that. So when I do that treadmill for 10 minutes, I try not to let my ankles pronate in, and because if I hold them like how they're supposed to be, flexes my IT band and help like can gain some range of motion. So I've literally been trying to just like on the treadmill walk, standing straight up, getting my glutes up underneath me, kind of like engaging them and flexing them. Dude, my legs are burning walking on the treadmill for 10 minutes doing that.
'Cause you're
Like
doing
actually
it how you're
using
supposed to, right?
like how I'm actually supposed to walk, I
Yeah.
don't do. The right muscles are not working and it's actually crazy. Like my legs are on fire when I'm done walking on the treadmill for
That's
10 minutes
crazy.
because I'm actually like trying to just use and literally I'm not flexing anything in my legs. I'm just trying to like stand up straight, hold my glutes in and walk with a stride that actually somewhat works, and I feel it in the hip flexors and everything, like actually doing like a not even like walking like super extended long strides, just like trying to walk like a normal person and not letting my ankles pronate in, and just that barely trying to stay on like flatter feet instead of pronating in just burns the outside of my calves, like the right in front of the shins. It's crazy. But then when I get off, like the legs feel so much looser. It's crazy.
Hmm. I think if you stick with that for a while, that'll really you'll notice a lot from it because the hip issue, that's from it, what it sounds like whenever we talk about it, like being able to get stronger there will give you a lot of strength in your riding and everything, crashing, everything like that.
Yeah. For me, it's just it's really the confidence that I want. I want it sucks like when you're like, I could tail up this jump right now, but there's a chance my leg doesn't lift up high enough to get around it.
Yeah.
Might not have enough flexibility for this, but hopefully that and this jump attack. Dude, this is gonna literally it's it's painful. You want to throw up.
Document the whole thing. You
I'm gonna have
gotta
you try this. I'm
every
gonna bring
video.
it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
we'll
bring it.
go to
You gotta
like
try it.
Planet or something and film us doing it, or I don't know. It could be a lot of fun. We'll figure something out.
It's so death.
Did you see Victor? Victor asks, when do you check your bike for loose bolts? I haven't checked my bike in a while, and jumping and landing, my bars went back. Bars were super loose. I never check my bike. I probably should, but I have a lot of trust in my hands and my 6 millimeter Allen key and Loctite if you use it, but I don't ever check it.
Yeah, when I used to work at the bike shop, I used to rebuild my bike all the time. I used to always take it apart and clean it because I was bored.
Yeah.
Um, but dude, as long as my front wheel's tight, I don't know. I literally, it's really bad to say, but I don't know when the last time I touched my stem was. Like the they don't really just like come loose that much. There is
Yeah.
Loctite in there, Like I do run blue Loctite in all of my bolts, so it's not. I don't really see anything coming loose. My cranks will come loose, and my pedals will come loose. Those things I tighten frequently, but my stem I couldn't tell you the last time I've touched that.
Mm, yeah.
But I touch bolts on like my brakes a lot because things always get loose, cable stretches, things slip. Um, Pretty much just the stem bolt and the seat thing, the seat post thing. I never touched that.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't mess with my. I should, like you said, it's probably bad to say, but yeah, if uh if I change something, something breaks, then everything in that area gets a wrench down, but that's about it. I'm not too crazy about it, and I guess maybe if I had more issues with it, I would be, but
I think
um,
you would know. Like if your bolts were loose, it wouldn't take much to move your stuff,
yeah.
and you would know pretty quickly within riding. So I mean, that we're not recommending at all that you don't check your bolts. Like, we recommend you check your bolts when you ride. We're just
all the
telling you
time.
that we're your stupid parents that did things and now we're telling you not to do
Do what we
it.
say, not what we do. Do what we say, not what we
Yeah.
do. Pads. B. Lyle's asking about pads. That'd be a interesting video just to do, but I mean, for the most part, I want to say they're all the same, but they're kind of not. Just pick something that works for you that's comfortable. Like Jared wants something slim and low weight, so he wears the Shadow Super Slim. I like to have inside whip guards on my shin pads and ankle guards when I'm riding them. Like if I'm going to pad up, it might as well be a pretty hefty pad up. Nick wears a lot of gear too.
Yeah, I wear hip pads, knee pads, ankle pads, shin pads, mouth guard. I don't wear gloves though. Never wear gloves. But speaking of pads,
Uh, Nick's running away.
no, I'm just trying to grab this.
He's like,
There's
see
not
you guys
actually
later.
there's not actually any pads in this. We got this box of stuff today
Is that from
Sh-
Shred?
This is from Shred, and these are
Nick
not
recommends
pads.
Shred.
Yeah, I ride for Shred, so I'm always gonna recommend Shred. But cool thing about Shred, I would buy Shred stuff even if I didn't ride for them. They literally make the most genius stuff, and I love their stuff. But look at these. So I got a new black full face in there for the DH bike, and you know I've been running this blue and orange helmet that I really like, so I've been running blue and orange goggles with it.
Uh-huh.
But since we're now running black helmet, we could get a little bit more with the colors. Dude, look at these goggles.
They're pink.
These are fire, and that's like a purpley tinted lens.
Yeah,
Like
that's
these
cool.
things. Hold on.
Rad.
Dude, I
That's
could
so
go
weird
snowboard
to
in these.
Yeah, you goggles on bikes. That's crazy. I've never even thought of that, but it's
Oh,
a big
dude, when
thing
you go
when you're
on,
going real fast, huh?
I would say when you're going Mach 10 on a downhill bike, dude, a fly hits you in the eye. It's the worst thing. And dude, these are dark. I got lots of other lenses, but no, yeah, no, it's actually I don't ride with gloves, but I would not ride high speed or like in the desert without goggles.
Yeah.
Especially if you're following somebody, dude, that dust you can already not see, and then if that dust gets in your eye. One time when we were filming in Utah in September, I had like dropped my goggles on the ground, and so dirt got like inside of them. And when I jumped this jump, dirt in like this little pebble inside bounced up into my eye, literally landed like this, and I was like, dude, it took so long to get it out. I had to rinse out with water. Like it was miserable in the air. All of a sudden, couldn't see out of one eye. And I was like, what is going on? And it hurt. It's like Jesus.
Did you Andrew's last question probably, and then we'll be done. So unless you guys have any more last minute questions, I don't know what riser bars are. That's a mountain bike thing, yeah.
Definitely, Andro. Definitely a personal thing. I ride 25 millimeter rise. I think I'm gonna bump up to 35 millimeter rise because I think it'll help my stance. If you go into the bike school, you know, go there like what the videos are, and watch my demonstration of the stance holds. And when I was filming that, I realized that naturally on the BMX bike, I was able to achieve that stance much better. Whereas on the mountain bike, uh, I wasn't quite as easy to naturally hold that stance. And so I think rising my bars 10 millimeters will help me with that. So uh, it's definitely a personal thing, but there also is higher bars are gonna be a little bit better for your back, et cetera, et cetera. When you're talking about like enduro mountain bikes, there's full fit sciences, what they call is like fitting your road bike and stuff like that. But definitely, I would say for the most part, just just preference. People like me that have issues, we
They're just
we need to do
taller
things by the
bars.
book.
Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
just taller bars, yeah.
Okay, because
Because
like in
most mountain bike
BMX,
bars are
you can
flat.
get okay, because you can get stems with a rise, like if you get a top load stem or something in BMX. Okay,
Yeah. No, because yeah, mountain bike bars can be like literally dead flat. You know, they're really raised
heard.
like this high.
Interesting.
My dad's are like this. He's got like 4 inch rise.
All right. Well, this was a fun one, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Big shout out to our bike school members, Jared and Chad and Victor and
I'm
Andre.
so behind in the chat.
What?
I was like, dude, there's so many questions left, and I'm still at the what about that Nick Hilton Virgin Dropbox
Yeah,
folder?
that's we were talking about that a hot minute ago.
Oh, I'm so behind. I was reading every single one.
Right. It's
I
good.
read
Yeah, we
all
gotta
the comments, guys, and
give you
we
guys our time.
we really appreciate the comments. Like I read every single one. I know we don't always get to talk about all of them, but we usually once w- once we close the live, we look at some more of them, try to come up with new things that we could talk about and new stuff. And yeah, if you guys aren't a part of bike school, um, that is your chance to get some custom content made for
Right.
you and really get some inside scoops because riding bikes is difficult and there really is no like one path and but not and but I think the more people we can help progress, the more we can kind of make some kind of like streamlined framework to help like people that are literally just getting on the bike for the first time.
Yeah.
So let us help you.
Yeah, I just threw the link in there, guys, because there's a lot of our members in here, but there's some of you guys that might be thinking about it. So hit that link and learn a little bit more. But either way, it's really fun to hang out with you all on the live.
Absolutely, yeah. It's good. We look forward to this every Monday. It's a good time.
We will see you Friday, a new video. We're not sure which one it's going to be, but it'll be good as always. And
And then
check out,
next week we're gonna fire out a bunch. No, well, not on
yeah,
YouTube, but we're gonna film a bunch.
yeah. So
So
hey, if you guys have any content ideas, I've been making notes throughout this live too. Is like more about crashing for bike school from Victor. I'll go a little more in depth on that, and I've got a lot of notes for you guys. So if you let us know what you want to see when we're out here filming
yeah.
when we film next week.
Also, we do talk a lot about crashing in bike school. I did a whole 15
Right?
minute video on it.
There's a lot.
There's lots of things in bike school that you wouldn't expect. Check out the curriculum. It's on the
Like
page. All right.
when you were talking about the goofy footed thing, you're like, oh, there's a whole like lesson about goofy
Yeah,
footed
there's a whole
because
thing.
there
Like,
is, and
it's one thing, real quick, right before we sign off. Bike school is much more than how-to videos. How-to videos is like not what bike school is about. It's so much bigger than that. So check it out.
it's the community. Look at this community we got going
Yeah,
on in here.
we're just getting started, going to the moon.
Right. All right, guys. Have fun. Enjoy riding your bike this week and progress.
Yeah.